good evening to one and all present here. I, Ahana, and my co-host Vinayak welcome you all to an exciting talk presented by Internshape, a unit of India Energy Skills Private Limited on spectacular space spin-offs. Vinayak, Bhaiya, what are you doing? We are live!
Oh, I'm so sorry. And my sincere apologies, everyone. Actually, Ahana, my back and neck is aching since today morning. I'm in a lot of pain. So I was a bit distracted.
Why? Don't you have a memory foam mattress? Do you know? Memory foam was invented for astronauts to be cushioned while on their missions to space. However, this technology is now heavily used for our comfortable beds, couches, and chairs, not to mention better shoes and much more. It's very comfortable, you know.
You're very right. Yes. And technologies like this that have come from space are called spin-offs. A spin-off is something that has resulted from experiments, inventions, or technologies in space. And with more than 2,000 such spin-off technologies, the number is rising every day. We owe the space exploration industry and its scientists, researchers, product developers, and testers a lot of credit for making our everyday lives easier, safer, healthier, and much more efficient. And with that being said, once again, a very warm welcome and thank you, everyone. And thank you, Ahana, for joining our event. For the last 2 years, the mission of Internshape has been to bridge the gaps between employability and deployability of the youth. Our main mission is to make them ready for future jobs and familiarize them with the latest technology and new skill requirements of various industries. So today, what we are doing is very interesting. We are touching a very niche sector that has been exciting us since the day we started Internship: space. Space and its relevance in our day-to-day lives. So ever since the dawn of civilization and humans' fascination with what lies beyond the stars, we have been getting closer and closer to space. This is especially true from the mid-20th century till today. Practically speaking, thanks to the wondrous advancements in technology and research, very little separates life on Earth from life in space. The fundamental difference, perhaps, is only gravity and the lack of it. So from an era where space was just a dream to now having commercial flights going to space for recreational purposes, the day is not far off when 1 out of every 10 people alive today may be living and working on Mars. But do you know, Hannah, more interesting than all of this, more interesting than going to space, is what space has brought to us here on Earth. So come on and let me take you through some very amazing spin-off technologies that have made life on Earth very different. So let's take a look. So let me know, Ahana, what do you see in this coming image?
What is this, Bhaiya? It's not very clear to me. Let me just wear my glasses. Oh, the Taj Mahal!
Yes, exactly right. That was a very smart move. And your glasses are in fact one of the most important inventions that space research and engineering has contributed to. They're used very widely here on Earth. Even I'm wearing the scratch-resistant contact lenses today. And they are the product of collaboration between NASA and the Foster Grant Corporation. Scratch-resistant lenses were tested and created in 1983. Prior to its development, lenses were mostly made of ground and polished glass. That doesn't sound very comfortable at all. Now we have plastic lenses that are scratch proof, shatter proof. They can be twisted and turned, and you can fiddle around with them. And they are extremely lightweight.
Wow, I really didn't know that I use a space invention every day. Tell me more, Bhaiya, please.
Sure, we can start by taking a look around our own house. So, firstly, when mom is busy or at work and you have to reheat your food, whose help do you take? I'm sure you're not yet allowed to use the gas burners or open flames.
No, Bhaiya, I'm grown up now. I know how to use the microwave and enjoy my meal all warm.
That's excellent. Well, talking about the microwave is another invention that we can thank the aerospace and aviation industry for. Microwaves emerged from post World War II military radar technology. So, this is the exact reason why the first model of the microwave ever made was called the radar range. So, another simple tool of our house, if you keep taking a look around, is the humble vacuum cleaner. That is also an indirect space invention. So, the dust buster was originally developed as a part of NASA's Apollo space mission. The brief given to the designers was to develop a small, portable, self contained drill that could extract samples from exosurfaces like the moon. So the tech was developed with the aid of a very famous company called Black& Decker, and they make lots of household appliances even today. This program led to the development of many small handheld power tools, including the Dustbuster that was released in 1979. Nowadays, we use much more complex vacuum cleaners, of course, in our household.
Wow, this is truly incredible.
Isn't it? I also think so. And so, does the responsibility often come to you for vacuum cleaning or cooking or doing household chores?
Yeah, I often help around at home. But to be honest, even 15 minutes of housework and chores make me very sleepy.
Me too. And if that is the case, then LEDs are your friend. Former Kennedy Space Center contractors started a company called BIOS Lighting, and they developed an LED light called Sky Blue that would not only help plants grow, but also keep humans awake and alert when working long hours in an office or spending time at home. This particular lighting emits wavelengths that drive photosynthesis for plants and suppresses melatonin production in humans. So it induces wakefulness.
That will be very helpful indeed. Although I think a good nap or full night's sleep always has its benefits as well. You wake up refreshed, your mind is alert, and your skin is glowing.
Very true, Ahana. And for those who take care of their health and follow self care regimens, I think it is also worthwhile to mention that even in cosmetics, space science has a very important contribution. Technology Applications International, in 2013, they licensed a patent using the NASA bioreactor. This is a very interesting raw material that has regenerative qualities, including fibroblasts that help in holding cells together. So it's almost like magical technology. This was used to make skin creams, which work by stimulating natural cellular activity to rebuild and toughen the skin.
Really? So, those creams that all women long for to make them ageless are also products of the space industry. Oh, nice. You know, we can never miss the beauty sleep on that memory foam mattress. Many people know what memory foam is, but not necessarily where it is derived from. It was originally designed by NASA funded researchers with the intention of keeping test pilots cushioned during flights. Now it's used in beds, couches, shoes, and many other everyday items. I have one in my home for a good night's sleep.
Sounds like I should look into getting one as well to stop this neck pain. And in fact, there is one more thing that helps in a good night's sleep, especially in our Delhi NCR region that we live in, which unfortunately is seeing a lot of pollution these days. The air purifier. It is increasingly becoming a necessity in every home. NASA originally developed the technology, specifically called ethylene scrubbers, to prolong plant growth in space without the use of filters. It was later developed by a company for use in protecting perishable foods from fouling by removing waste gases. Air purifiers also had the benefit of removing airborne particles, pathogens, organic compounds, and molds.
Ew. Moles, particles, bacteria. Yuck. I don't like to think about them. Ew.
Is that so?
Yep. I prefer all my food to be fresh, hygienic, and healthy. Rotten food really disgusts me. Yuck.
I agree. And that reminds me of another spin off technology from space exploration that we can be very thankful for: food preservation techniques.
Hmm. Do you mean like wrapping up the leftovers in foil and keeping them in the fridge for later?
Sort of, but not exactly. So you have the principle right, but I'm talking about the next level of food preservation. Research and development for how to send nutritious food with astronauts to outer space and make it stowable for a long time, as well as easy to prepare and consume, has led to the creation of miraculous technologies like all in one baby food formula, ready to eat meals that are vacuum sealed, and freeze dried foods such as instant coffee and tea.
Wow!
Here's a here's a fun fact. So it's very warm right now. It's summertime. Do you like to drink refreshing beverages like rasna, ruafza, Nesti, or Glucon D in the warm summer season?
Yep, yeah. It really helps in beating the heat.
I agree. And one of these brands that you might recognize called Tang, which comes in a lot of flavors. So Tang was developed by the General Foods Corporation and was later adopted by NASA for use in the Mercury food system. Orange drink, as it is still referred to by NASA, has been used continuously since that time, and it is still consumed by crew members on the International Space Station till today. It is an excellent
Wow!
source of vitamin C. So you see, spin-off technologies from space, they are really affecting our lives here on Earth in direct and noticeable ways.
Wow! That is awesome. Well, it's nice. I hear you loud and clear.
I'm glad you do, Ahana, because hearing is one of our most precious senses. Some of our friends who are not lucky to have a full sense of hearing face a lot of challenges in life being differently abled.
Are the good people working in the space industry able to provide any help to them?
As a matter of fact, yes, I'm happy to tell you that one of the pioneers in early cochlear implant technology was Adam Kisaya, an engineer at Kennedy Space Center who himself was hearing impaired and unsatisfied with the available hearing aids at that time. Kisaya used his NASA honed expertise from work in the Space Shuttle program, which included electronic, sound, and vibration sensor systems, to develop a cochlear implant that worked by electric impulses rather than sound amplification.
Wow! I am really pleased when technology works in inclusive ways and makes people's lives better. It puts a big smile on my face.
I'm very happy to hear that, Ahana, and I hope that your smile and your happiness persists for a long, long time. Even our smiles and our teeth have benefited from the spin off technologies of space exploration in the form of invisible braces. A company working with NASA invented the translucent ceramic that became the critical component of the first invisible dental braces, which went on to become one of the best selling orthodontic products of all time. They are designed for each tooth, connected by a thin metal wire, They are strong, aesthetically appealing, and as effective clinically as plastic or metal appliances.
Wow, that is really super interesting. I was always scared of braces and worried about how they look. But this technology looks super cool. I'm really learning a lot on this Zoom call today.
I'm glad to hear that. And we have space spin-offs to thank for this as well. To thank for all of the technological developments that have progressed our IT infrastructure at such a rapid pace here in day-to-day life on Earth. So we are able to have seamless video calls like this that connect you and me and so many people around the world. And we are able to have this and super fast connected technology today because of cloud computing spin-off technologies that were developed to maintain a strong working communication network during our space missions. An effort at Ames Research Center to standardize NASA websites unexpectedly, it led to a breakthrough in open source cloud computing technology. With the help of Rackspace Incorporated of San Antonio, Texas, the resulting product that they made, called OpenStack, has spurred the growth of an entire industry that is already employing hundreds of people and generating millions of dollars in revenue. Around the early 2000s, when NASA was working to standardize the look and functionality of its different websites, this is before you were born, but it's still an interesting story, so I'll tell it anyway. Their websites looked very different and they wanted to standardize them, make them look similar, and make their functionality a little bit similar. So they came to realize that they needed to create a cloud computing service. Cloud computing basically is the delivery of software, processing power, and storage over the internet. Whether these resources are as simple and ordinary as a library of music files or as complex as a network of supercomputers, cloud computing enables an end user to control them remotely and simply. The idea is basically to be able to log on to a service and say, I want 10 computers. And within a minute, I can start using those computers for any purpose that I need. This gives us a lot of processing power and flexibility, leading to greater technological advancements in a lot of different fields.
This is so mind blowing. I have really started to note and appreciate all the amazing spin off technologies that have come from space. Necessity is the mother of invention.
That's very true. And there are a lot of necessities and hardships when it comes to surviving and thriving in space. However, I think it is worth it if those necessities result in truly remarkable technologies and creative approaches to problem solving. It is great to see how enthusiastic you are, Ahana, to know about space and the spin off inventions that arose due to humanity's efforts in space exploration. So let me take your excitement further up a level by introducing you to another space enthusiast. He is a mentor and a researcher, Mr. Chesler Thomas. So, Chesler, I'll tell you a little bit about him. He is a research and development and business development analyst at Skyroot Aerospace. He has co-authored more than 10 research papers in the space sector. He won the Best Space Mission in 2011 during his training in the US Space and Rocket Research Center at Huntsville, Alabama. He has also co-discovered a provisional asteroid out of 17 total worldwide discoveries in Pan-STARRS IASC 2017, being the only Indian team to discover a provisional asteroid. He is not limited to these achievements, but many, many more. And having him as a speaker for today's webinar and as one of the mission commanders for Internship Space Explorer program is truly a blessing for us. Just like you, he was very curious about space and started studying about it in school when he was just 11 years of age. Let me extend a hearty welcome and invite Mr. Chesler Thomas to share his journey with us.
Thanks for the opportunity to talk about my journey in space so far, provided by Internship. And I was born as a child who had difficulty communicating. So I actually preferred communicating with devices and tools compared to people. So I actually started using a screwdriver when I was 4 years old. And I opened up your old school PCs, your CRT TVs, your video cameras, whatsoever, since a very small age. So you give me a screwdriver, I can assemble and disassemble anything, because that's the age since when I started playing with these things. And I always had this best out of waste kind of attitude. So give me any broken stuff, I would just kind of take the parts together and make something. So it was a hobby, you could say. And to know my journey, you should know my father's journey. So he actually had his experience in the military. So he was actually in the Bangalore regiment of the Madras Engineering Group, which is actually the team that goes out into the enemy lines and checks for mines and sets up all kinds of infrastructures before your actual army gets it. So lots of high stress, high functioning kind of mentality. And he was also pretty prominent in the foreign exchange industry, and he was an entrepreneur who was into real estate. He always wanted me to be this kind of a business capable kind of person. So I used to get a lot of knowledge and insights from him, and he had a habit of keeping all kinds of books and encyclopedias at home. So it was, a time pass for me. So I used to take different kinds of encyclopedias and read through them as time passed. And I'd say around 2009, 10, around, I started moving on from encyclopedias and started using the internet. So that was a pretty cool phase. And then I came across Wikipedia. So lots of cool stuff happening on Wikipedia. So you go through one article, you feel very enthusiastic and interested, and then there are these other articles about it. So you just keep going, clicking, reading, clicking, reading. It became a habit for me. So almost like 30 to 40 minutes of an hour a day to read Wikipedia articles. So I had the opportunity to learn a lot of different things about a lot of different things. And since a young age, my father used to take me everywhere. Used to go all kinds of business sales activities, all kinds of trainings and sessions. So I used to be the 10-year-old child sitting in between 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds during internet marketing trainings, e-commerce trainings, so, and also linguistic training. So it's a whole other experience altogether. But over time, I kind of realized around 2009 in my sixth grade that I need to do something meaningful in my life. Whatever life I have, there should be something I do that is meaningful. And on the side, I used to do quizzes, science and math Olympiads, fairs, little bit of athletics, running relays, and whatever. But I always had this, nagging thought in my head that I need to do something tangible that really makes a difference in life. So I started looking into what are like the top next big things that could happen. I mean, the internet is an open resource, so you could literally search about anything. So the two main areas I felt at that time, that could really come big is either AI or space. And to get into AI, you would have to go into a computer science kind of background. If you want to get into space, you can get into a computer background or something that's a little more, hard and fast, tangible, electromechanical kind of systems, which is what I was very inclined to since January, screwdriver and tools and whatnot. So yeah, that's where it started for me. And then, I started looking more into the space sector, what really made it tick. And what I realized is, so I'm a person who came from the era where, we shifted from cathode ray TVs to your slowly into your LED LCD TVs. So there's a lot of transformation in technologies that I was able to see. And I'd say a lot of those upgradations could be credited to what exactly happened in the space sector. So the different difficulties and challenges that were solved in space caused those technological innovations to bleed into the other industries, which is what we call a spin-off. So this seemed very fascinating. So it hit me, if I'm able to beat the space sector, I mean, like win at the space sector, I can take that and go anywhere, do anything I want, play with any kind of tech. I mean, for a tinkerer, somebody who plays with tech, what's better than that, right? So, and also I'm a very independent person. So I knew that, rather than going for just a typical traditional tech kind of, I should have some kind of a business forte as well. So that was pretty clear for me from the start. But astronaut life seemed very fascinating to me at the time. which is when I had my training in 8th grade, which is in 2011 at the US Space Rocket Center in Huntsville. So we had trainings on astronaut activities. So, the kind of spacesuit that you would wear, the kind of trainings that you would have, the G-force simulation, the multi-axis simulation, the 1/6 jet to simulate, how much of gravity you would experience on the moon and so on. So real life experiences basically. And trainings as to, if you're in a mission control center, how do you plan the entire launch? How do you initiate the sequence? How do you operate on different modules, with the propulsion module, the structures module, your aerodynamics and control module, the GNC module, whichever module it is. How do you operate from that launch command center? How do you lead the entire launch command sequence based on your mission manual? And also the EVA activity. So if you're going out into the moon, if you're going out in Mars in a different terrain, in a space station, how do you operate? How do you conduct experiments and so on? So at a pretty young age, it's a lot of bombarding. But at that point, I was able to see what is actually possible with the space sector. And also, I am a little afraid of heights, and it's a little tricky to be an astronaut. So I realized it's better to stay grounded and focus on the things that help people get to space rather than actually being an astronaut. So that's where it started for me. And I was pretty clear, if I want to get into space, I need to take the science stream. I need to get into possibly an engineering kind of discipline. Not that you can't go in medicine, there are options for astrobiology and space medicine. But I was pretty clear that I wanted to take engineering with screwdrivers. So I went into that kind of a track. I took science stream, and then towards my 12th, I actually wanted to join MIT Boston, but there was some issues in my academics. But on the side, I managed my extracurriculars. So if you want to go from school life to very big shot Ivy League colleges, you need your extracurriculars, you need your co-curriculars, and your academics is just a entry ticket. So if you have a certain, say, cutoff score, that's it. Its role gets over after that. I mean, they might say, look at your consistency. It's good to have consistency, but that's all they look at. After that, they look at what's the kind of activities you've worked on, the kind of extracurriculars, co-curriculars, the kind of projects you've worked on, the kind of new things that you've tried out. That's what they look at, because end of the day, it has to add meaning and value to whatever they are offering as a particular university. But things didn't work out for me on that angle, and I decided to go for a more cost-effective option. That's how I decided to do my education in India itself, in UPS Dehradun. So I did my bachelor's in aerospace engineering, because there is no actual bachelor's for space engineering. And I was under an impression that once you get into bachelor's, you could just directly kind of 1 or 2 years you just focus on that aeronautical, you can move into space. But as I came in, I realized that these kind of bachelor's courses, they focus more on the aeronautical side, and space comes a bit more towards the end, and it gets more deeper in master's. But I was focused on space from the beginning, so it was a deal breaker for me. So what I did is I managed my time, and I focused on, in first year, the things that were accessible to me were clubs, the university clubs, and also the different kinds of citizen science programs. So working on those kind of things gave me a grunt from the ground kind of experience. And towards my second year, I worked on different competitions and research projects. And as I proceeded into third year, I also got myself more into research papers and projects. And towards my final year, I got into different kinds of trainings, different kinds of internships, and different kinds of job opportunities. So the thing here is, before I went into engineering, I was confused whether I should take a direct engineering approach, or should I take a business approach and move in. So at the time, my father told me, you focus on the engineering part, I'm there for the business part. But due to certain issues in life, my father had a brain stroke and he passed away. So I had to focus on earning on the side, working on different kinds of part-time jobs, and in the process, I had to force myself into somebody who can handle a family, handle businesses, handle the non-technical side of things. So that's how I got my first job at Skyroot, which is a very, very great opportunity, I would say, for people in the Indian space sector and for somebody of my age. And one very critical element to how this happened is Dr. Rubu Govind. Was Dr. Rubu Govind, who was my mentor, who is my mentor, and I did my minor project under him, my major project under him. I was teaching assistant in college. So there was so much I had to learn from him. I got to learn from him. And with his knowledge and experience that he has imparted into the sector, it was easy for him to point me from A to B, what is the right channel to go through, because my goals may be clear. I know exactly what I want to do. How to get there is the part of the equation that he was able to really help me out in, which is one of the main reasons I was able to fast track and enter into the sector at a young age. But despite the great opportunity that I have, I believe, if you want bananas, you work like monkeys. If you want the each share, you work like lions and tigers. But if you want something higher, you work high. So as grateful as I am for the great opportunities I have, I know that it's a long journey to do something really great. So I focus on activities on the side even when I'm working. So that is different kinds of working groups such as the Cyberspace Innovation Advisory Council. I work on different kinds of citizen science projects. I'm working on a few books as well, including some with Dr. Govind as well. And I'm working on a little bit of research and mentoring. Now, the thing is, for me, getting to where I am right now has been a very big uphill struggle. And I believe if I have been able to cross that bar, it should be even more accessible for the other people who are interested in space, which is why I kind of got into different kinds of mentoring activities. But that is more like just, one person trying to make a difference in the world. And I felt it can be taken up a notch higher, can be done in a much better fashion, which is why I decided to work with Internshape, with Internshape's platform, with Internshape's experience personal, with Internshape's resources. It is capable to take this to one order of magnitude further and actually target a large audience of people who need this kind of fast tracking to get to the dreams and goals they actually decide to become developed individuals who can contribute to the society through space technologies. Because if you look at space technology, it doesn't just end at space, it bleeds out into the other domains. You want medical domain, you get all kinds of applications that came from space. You want construction, you will get something or the other that works in space. Computer science, your CMOS chips of your cameras, your integrated processors. The Apollo 11 processor is where your processor revolution started from. So there is so much that you can get because of the progresses that is happening in the space sector. And we are at a paradigm right now where there are reusable launches happening. There are plans for colonization to different planets. There are plans going on utilizing satellites and other kinds of technologies to make this world better. Literally, space is becoming as incorporated into the daily life of a person as computers have started becoming 2 decades ago. So this is the right time to sensitize, inform, and guide our future youth into what is happening in our space sector and how to make themselves able and equipped to survive and grow in this sector today. And you could call this a test run, but I have been working with a lot of students across different age groups in working into space sector, working on research projects, and it is with the pride that I would like to say that my younger brother, Chance Thomas, he's currently 14 and he is in his 10th grade, and he had his first research paper selected in the International Astronautical Congress 2022. Now, my first research paper was selected in 2019. That is when I was 20, 21 years. So he's getting it at 14, I'm getting it at 21. So my goal and what I'm trying to do is to fast track that process for our youth, the children of tomorrow, to reach out and grab what is possible in the space sector to contribute.
Thank you so much, Chesler. It has indeed been a fascinating and rewarding journey for you. And I thank you again for sharing your story with us and inspiring this generation to reach for the stars. We are further honored today to be joined by Dr. Ugur Guen. Dr. Guen is an aerospace engineer and a nuclear engineer. He is currently working as the Senior Professor of Aerospace Engineering and conducting research related to interstellar travel and utilization of nuclear energy for space missions, as well as space habitats. So who can be better than a man with more than 25 years of experience and more than 250 academic publications to talk about career prospects and the boundless opportunities of space? I would like to invite Dr. Govind to share a few words.
I actually would like to ask you two questions which is very relevant to people. The first question is, when you said about the concept of stack internship which you have propagated and people are working effectively and gaining from that, can you just explain that concept, please?
Well, in the world, there's something called stack degree concept, which is taking off in a big way. And I'm part of a group of 8 professors, 4 from US and 4 from Europe, who we have come together to try to promote the idea of stack degrees to help create a more holistic education for the student. So basically what the stack degree says that when it's for a student to be ready for life and for employment, that students needs to have several skills: problem-solving skills, challenge-solving skills, ability to steer towards technical challenges, personal challenges, work challenges. So to create that, we believe that the best way to create that holistic education is to allow the student to have obviously the theoretical education that he or she gets at the university, but also that student should have multiple internships that allows the student to understand problem-solving skills, challenge-solving skills, and to be able to get used to the idea of working for a company, working for an organization, working for a project, working with tight deadlines, so that student knows how to navigate through these challenges. Also, this is also not enough, because we also believe the students should be exposed to several workshops, seminars, and it's also mandatory for the student to have participated in at least one international competition, so that that student also knows what it means to compete under difficult circumstances.
Yes.
So, and this model has taken off in many universities across the world. For example, as I was telling you, in one university in Canada, the classic 4-year program, the 4-year engineering program, have become 6 years.
Okay.
But the student has to complete 6 internships before he or she can graduate from the university, which helps a lot, because during the undergraduate degree itself, the student is making money, because every year he or she has to do an internship of at least 3 to 6 months. One semester the student studies, one semester student goes to work. That work could be in a lab if he wants to do an academic internship. That can be in the industry if the student wants to do a company internship. And so by the time the students finish their 6 years, they have so many skills and abilities that have come together that they're not just ready for a job, but they're also ready for life. So
Wow.
this is the concept that we're trying to promote.
Yeah.
And now all across the world, there's a lot of understanding that just the classical education itself is not enough to get students ready for life, and the countries and the universities which are able to do this in the right way are of course also able to take the fruits of their labor, because imagine these students, when they're ready for life, when they're ready for industry, when they're ready for life's challenges, they also contribute to that particular nation, they contribute to their families, they contribute to the society, they contribute to the world, which makes it a better place.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Govind. Actually, your concept of not getting only job ready, but getting life ready is quite remarkable. And I'm very sure that's a very path-breaking concept, and people should be able to appreciate that why it is important to keep on doing so many projects of internship and learning so many things while they're doing the projects and all that.
Exactly.
So thank you, sir, so much.
It was a
And
pleasure.
what do you think is the model on which I explained to you about Internshape, the kind of work which we are trying to do? Would you like to give your view that how this model can really work effectively in an Indian context, since you understand Indian education system so well?
Exactly. Well, India, one of the biggest issues is there's a lot of competition between students and new graduates to take part in the industrial sector. But obviously, while there are many companies in India, there are also many students in India who graduate and who are looking for jobs.
Sure.
And it's not about just finding a job; it's also finding the right job that allows you to have the right career path. So, for example, my belief as a professor who's been in India for many years, the first selection can be very important, because it can set the tone for the rest of your life. So therefore, in the Indian sector, it's very important for the students to be very competitive by the time they graduate. They can't just rely on the degree itself to get them a good job. They will get some job, that's for sure. But getting some job may not be the right solution to getting their career path on track.
Okay.
So that's why when I was in India, I recommended many Indian students to be very, very holistic, to be very active. I personally sent many students to international conferences. They published their papers, they talked about their research. They got involved in many projects, national and international. Some of the students got a patent for their ideas.
Okay.
I encouraged them to go to many international competitions so they would really know how to compete and how to work in a teamwork.
Sure.
And they learned so many skills that they were not even aware of that they had.
Absolutely.
Until they had a chance to really experience these things. And I always made sure that the internships they took were challenging, not just simple internships where they go and come back, but actually internships where they will be able to, test all their skills, find out what they're weak at, and take steps to correct those weaknesses and to become strong. And like I said, not just industry ready, but life ready.
Absolutely.
And this model worked very well. I'm very happy to say that I have hundreds, maybe thousands of students in India who have benefited from these experiences. And now they're all well settled. Some of them are living in India, some of them are living abroad,
Yes.
and have created their very nice lives for themselves.
Thank you so much, Dr. Govind, for the inspiring message that will surely ignite a lot of ambition, aspiration, and action in the hearts and minds of young Indians interested in space exploration and research. Extremely learned and talented individuals like Dr. Govind and Mr. Chesler Thomas are an invaluable resource in Internshape's Space Explorer mission to educate young students on all things pertinent to the global space industry and make them future ready for the wealth of opportunities and interesting job titles that the space sector will create for them in the near future. To share more information on the unique value and awesome offerings of Internshape's Space Explorer program, I would like to invite my colleague, Ms. Prerna Sharma, to share a few words.
Thank you so much, Vinayak. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining in today. Looking at the stars, getting wooed by the images of the space, those sci-fi movies and endless questions about it, happens with every kid when they're young. Some of these questions we answer as parents, some we let go. Either because we don't know, or maybe we know it's just a curiosity that will fade away as they grow. And unintentionally, as they grow, we only talk about career options that we feel are safe and proven rewarding. But the era has changed. From the Industrial Revolution to the Information Age, and now the next most lucrative industry globally is the space industry. The industry was valued at $360 billion in 2018 and projected to be $558 billion by 2026. With the start of privatization, more than 500 companies have come in picture just within 1 year. And it's hunting for fresh talent and bright attitude people. But unfortunately, we're not really making our kids ready for this space age. That's where Internshape helps parents, schools, colleges to guide students with its Space Explorer program. This is India's premier space program, curated by experts with the right blend of theory, hands-on learning, with career guidance and exploration. We have a well-structured curriculum covering all possibilities of work in this field. And yes, we're not talking about only astronauts or space scientists here, or encouraging science and maths purely. But this is for students from all the streams: commerce, humanities, and science. Kids who love biology, but getting into the race of being a doctor is not what they want. Join space industry as astrobiologists. Commerce students aspiring to have your own law firm, why not have this with the head office on Mars and formulate the space laws? Much more. Those photographers, writers, technology enthusiasts, our program is for all. We have highly engaging content to enhance their critical thinking, problem solving, and nourish that hidden curiosity. Our e-learning platform gives students the flexibility to learn at their own pace, and at the same time, live coach session gives them the relevant guidance and nudge. Our group of advisors space industry professionals, and coaches. Make sure you stay on top of your game with certification, national and international association memberships. All this at a very nominal cost. So join us in finding your ideal space in this booming space era. Explore space as a safe and stable career option. Drop us a message on site or on social media to know more. Once again, thank you all for joining us in this exciting talk on space spin-offs. Because metaphorically, we're all already in space, just minus the gravity. Good evening. Thank you. Have a nice day.